In the year 1887, in the wind-scoured hills of the Montana Territory, Lila Hart was 25 years old and stood with nothing but the clothes on her back, a single satchel, and $7 folded inside a handkerchief. The settlement of Ironwood had cast her out after both her parents died in the fever that swept through the mining camps the previous winter. Cyrus Blackwood, who owned the largest ranch and controlled the local bank, decided her small claim near the edge of town would serve his plans better than her presence. With debts she could not meet and no family left, she sold the last of her father's tools and walked the dusty road until she reached the abandoned forge standing silent at the edge of the creek. No one wanted the sagging roof or the cold forge. The new rail line had made this one worthless. She offered her $7, and the place was hers. A few men at the saloon laughed and said a woman alone had bought herself nothing but rust and regret. Yet as she stepped through the heavy door into the dim interior, she felt something waiting beneath the packed earth floor, something long sealed away that would not only change her own days, but would reach back into the heart of Ironwood and give the settlement back what it had nearly forgotten it once possessed. Settle in and let us tell you the story of Lila Hart. If this story finds you standing at the edge of something others have already walked away from, we would be grateful if you shared your thoughts in the comments below. Lila had grown up in a small settlement where her father taught her that a day's work was measured by what it left behind for others. From her mother, she learned to listen to the sound of metal cooling and to read the grain in wood the way others read faces. After both her parents were taken by the fever, she tried to hold to those ways, taking in mending and helping the widows whose men had been lost. Underground, Cyrus Blackwood came calling one afternoon while she was hanging laundry behind the cabin her father had built. He offered her a price for the claim that was less than half what her parents had paid. When she refused, whispers began that her door welcomed too many strangers and that her lessons made the young question their place. The town council gave her 7 days to leave or face arrest as a vagrant. On the 7th morning, she sold the last of her father's tools, locked the cabin, and walked the road with her satchel and $7. The old forge stood silent against the creek, its stone chimney blackened by years of smoke and its anvil cold under a layer of dust. She spent 3 days clearing broken tools and sweeping the floor. On the 4th morning, while prying up a warped plank to replace it, she noticed the earth beneath gave slightly under her boot. She knelt and dug with a rusted shovel until she uncovered a flat stone. Beneath it lay a small iron strongbox, rusted at the seams but still locked. She carried it to the workbench and worked at the lock with steady hands until it opened. Inside lay a leather journal, a folded map of the surrounding claims, and a small bundle of letters tied with twine. The journal belonged to the original blacksmith, a man named Thomas Reed. Page by page, Lila read how Thomas had kept careful records of every piece of work he had done for the ranches and the mine. He had discovered that Cyrus Blackwood's father had been falsifying claim boundaries, quietly moving markers at night to steal land from smaller holders. Thomas had hidden the evidence beneath the forge floor, along with letters from families who had lost their claims. He wrote that the forge itself had been built on land meant to remain open for anyone who needed honest work. Lila sat for a long time with the journal open on the bench. The discovery would not make her rich, but it held the truth that Ironwood had buried. Word of what she had found moved through the settlement like wind through dry grass. Cyrus Blackwood came 2 evenings later with 2 of his men. He stood in the doorway of the forge and said the land belonged to him by right of old papers. He offered Lila twice what she had paid and told her to hand over whatever she had found. She did not raise her voice. She simply opened the journal and read the part where Thomas Reed had recorded the dates and the moved markers. Cyrus Blackwood's men looked at one another. One of them stepped back. Cyrus turned without another word and walked into the night. After that, the settlement began to change in quiet, stubborn ways. The widows whose husbands had lost their claims brought tools and began to clear the creek behind the forge. They decided the old building would once again serve as a place where anyone could work metal or mend tools without paying tribute to any one man. Lila gave the letters to the families whose names were written inside. The small school was repaired with what remained of the hidden money Thomas had left for that purpose. Cyrus Blackwood's influence over Ironwood grew thinner as more voices remembered the old agreements about shared land and shared truth. Within the year, he sold his ranch and left without ceremony. The settlement did not mark his leaving. It simply went on repairing what had been neglected. We began this story with a woman of 25 who had been cast out with $7 and who bought a forgotten forge because it was the only door still open to her. What she found sealed beneath the floor was not fortune for one life, but a reminder, written in faded ink and wrapped against the dust, that the worth of a settlement lies in the truths its people are willing to face together. Lila Hart did not keep the discovery for herself. She gave it back to the hands that had once raised the forge, and in doing so, she gave Ironwood back a piece of its own forgotten heart. The old forge no longer stood silent. Its anvil rang again with honest work, its doors opened to anyone who needed shelter or a place to mend what was broken. Her name was no longer spoken with pity. It was spoken with the quiet respect given to someone who had looked at what others had cast aside and seen not ruin, but the chance to begin again. Thank you for walking this road with us through the wind and the dust and the quiet strength of one woman's hands.